It's like some things that I just don't, didn't really pay attention to. You guys are touching up on it, and it's good.
That's why we wanted her on the show, so we could
so we could talk.
So she could just listen to us. And
it's like immediate validation.
Yeah. It's like, we want to know, are we doing a good job for you guys? And we have her here to be hot and beautiful and to give us approval.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wright.
And I am Jerry.
And I'm Andrea.
Welcome to Reasons to See,
where we give you reasons to see.
Or not to see.
Ender's Game.
So let's hang out. Reason to see number 1. Ender. So ask Kiss Butterfield. He is awesome in this movie.
I'm sure he appreciates that.
Yeah, no, seriously, awesome.
It's not that. It's 3 letters. It's Asa Butterfield.
Asa.
Yeah. Regardless, he does a great job in this movie, man.
Amazing.
Ender is the shit. I wanted to be this 13-year-old kid, man. He starts off with growing up on board games, and it made sense to me when I was watching. I was like, yeah, that makes perfect fucking sense.
Yeah, motivating. His character. Leader from start to finish. It was awesome.
I didn't know how much I would like him given the trailer because he seemed kind of cold and stiff, but in the movie you get to know him and sort of this whole situation he's thrust into, and he does give a standout performance in this movie. I mean, there's a lot of good performances, but he's stellar.
Yeah, he's the best performer in this film. Like, you could feel all that repressed anger and stuff. He seemed to really embody every part of this, from the passion that he has for what he does, the strategicalness, the tacticalness. Those are not words.
And also, like, just the being caught in between so many things.
Yes, exactly. And you could feel all that, like, internal struggle that this kid goes through, Even though he's the shit and somehow he's gonna figure it out, you're still, like, rooting for him this entire time.
You're the shit, Ender.
So what did you think of Ender's performance, Andrea?
It was fucking amazing. It was
What word were you originally gonna say? You went fucking.
Shfucking.
Shfucking.
It was fucking amazing. What can I say?
It was fucking amazing. Reason to see number 2. Directing.
The director of this is Gavin Hood.
Gavin Hood, yeah.
The director of X-Men Origins Wolverine, and he has needed a movie for a while to break that image. And he has finally done it with Ender's Game.
I really wanted to see him do well, and I think he does with this movie. I think his direction, especially like where he puts the camera and all that stuff, and the pace is good, It's a step up from... it's like a whole staircase up from X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I loved how he played with so many different themes going on in this movie. There's such heaviness in a lot of these subjects, but he keeps the film moving at such a fast pace to keep it entertaining throughout. I don't know if they did that just because they had to trim the story down significantly. There's like tonal shifts that occur when different characters come in, and the transition to them makes so much sense. It's captured so well.
So, what did you think of the directing?
Directing, 2 thumbs up.
Wow.
You're gonna get sued by Ebert or maybe
just Roper.
Ouch.
Reason to see number 3. Visual effects. I thought they were awesome. It was the second movie I've seen this year where it was based in space, and I love, anything
that deals with space.
So how do you feel about Kevin Spacey?
Well, it definitely took me in to, deeper belief.
That's what she said. It's not like, groundbreaking visual effects in my opinion, but it's still pretty damn good visual effects.
It's a sci-fi epic. Most of it is in space, so there is a heavy use of visual effects. But, it all feels like it goes to serve what's going on. It's all for a greater purpose than just, oh, shiny! There's nothing that looks cheap or cheesy. Everything's done really well.
It kind of feels like Star Trek at times, doesn't it? Like the old school Star Trek, not the Abrams version. I'm talking the Shatner version.
Ender, you will save us.
So what did you think of the visual effects, Andrea?
Spacey blew my mind. It was, it took me in and rolled me around.
That's what she said.
Or something along those lines, I suppose.
Oh, come on. Tipped you in and rolled me around.
We should put you in the laundry.
This way, that way, up and down.
more of what she said. She was commentating on everything that was going on. Reason to see number 4. Harrison Ford.
More and more these days, Harrison Ford to me sounds like a grumpy bowl of oatmeal.
Dude, his hair he's starting to bald, but he still looks incredible for his, like, he just looks like Harrison Ford but older.
He looks at least like 10 years younger than he is.
But as far as his performance goes, like, I was blown away. No, take that back. I wasn't blown away.
He wasn't the main character, so he wasn't in, like, the whole movie. That's why, I mean...
That's the shitty thing about the trailers. The trailer makes it look like it's all about Harrison Ford.
You still get a heap ton of Harrison Ford, though.
Yeah,
it's like
Harrison,
the main support.
Yeah, he is not like just Harrison Ford is like making a cameo.
Yeah,
like he's really in it.
He does a really good job. I'm not like, oh, dude,
Yeah.
Harrison Ford is the reason. But, you know, he's still good. He's still really good.
What I thought was cool about him, like looking back on the performance, is he was very human at the end of the day. He could have played this like all smirky and like, ooh, I'm the suspicious character. Instead, he made a very human performance. At the right times you trust him, at the right times you're questioning his intent. He doesn't like put on an act at any of these moments. Like it's still the same character. And he's in love with this 13-year-old boy, Ender.
He is.
He, like every other line is, Ender's amazing.
Yeah, it's like, I imagine if we got any other scenes in this movie of just him hanging out, he would be like at a bar somewhere going, I gotta tell you about this kid. You got this kid, Ender? He's awesome. He's drunk in that scene.
Yeah.
Did you like Harrison Ford? What did you think?
Yeah, Harrison Ford was pretty cool. Intense in the eyes, intense in the body, intense with the other characters.
You say intense in the body?
Intense in the haircut, too.
The haircut was pretty nice.
Were you physically attracted to Harrison Ford?
No, I'm
Who
saying
isn't?
Intense in the body as in he had body confidence. He was a leader. He was strong. He showed it in the way he stood and the way he presented himself.
It sounds like
He was going for a job interview. Reason to see number 5. Viola Davis.
she is African American.
Yeah,
Clearly.
in this movie she is.
Clearly, right?
Clearly African American.
She
yes.
played an African American character really good. No, she was great in the movie.
No, she was. She was wonderful.
Yeah, she's the perfect balance for Harrison Ford's character. Kind of like a sports therapist in a way, you know? She's there to like really help these soldiers, you know, deal with their pain and trauma so they can advance more and everything. I think they represent Ender perfectly because you got Harrison Ford who's more closed off from his emotions and is like, fuck all emotions, just do what you gotta do. And then the other one is like, no, be in touch with who you are and trust yourself and all these other things. And so Ender always has that kind of struggle to try to be both those people.
She's actually like, just pound for pound, my favorite performance.
Really? More than Ender?
He's great, but every time she was on screen, she really stood out to me as just being so natural.
So what did you think of African American actress Viola Davis?
African American. What is she name?
She's African American.
Viola. I like that name. Viola.
That's what she got from this movie.
Very soft in her demeanor. Was a great supporter of the children.
She supported the shit out of the leading cast.
Reason to see number 6. Action.
There's not a lot of action in this film, but there's enough to be satisfying. And
There's not a lot of action, but there is a lot of training for action.
Yeah, exactly. There's this one, it's kind of like space Quidditch in my opinion.
That's what it reminded me of too. Of Harry
It's
Potter's.
like, it's got a Harry Potter Hunger Games feel about it.
Yeah.
Well, because it is a young adult novel.
Aren't those porn novels?
No, decidedly not. Literotica is a completely different...
Oh, erotic novels.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you're thinking of an adult novel, not a young adult.
I hear young adult, I think of a category on Pornhub.com, sorry. There's this one moment
man, yeah.
where it's like, I don't want to give away the game. They have some great moments, especially where Ender gets to look like a total badass. You know, not just, you know, intellectually, you know, he does some physical shit that's like, psh, this guy's a gangsta, homie.
Yeah, that whole Compton sequence was crazy.
Yeah, it's at one point it takes a real different direction.
Yeah,
for like 10 minutes only,
Yeah.
where Ender just kills a bunch of gangsters. But no, the action was really cool. It was it was choreographed really well too.
There's just enough action. It seems like it's all merited by the story, and it's captured really well. You know, it's
Yeah.
for people going for that. You know, those big sci-fi, you know, spaceships and laser guns and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
you will have your fill.
It's a
I like
fun
it.
film, dude. It's fun. I had a great time.
Yo, some action in this movie. What did you think of the action? Did you like the action?
Yeah. The kids, they fought a few times. And it was kind of scary a little bit because they were so violent with each other and, you know, kicking each other's asses, and it was greatly coordinated, I have to say. The cool games, the awesome space game that they did, that was a lot of action and flipping and shooting and this stuff and that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Reason to see number 7. The writing. I haven't read the book, so people don't hate on me. But overall, I thought the writing was really cool. You know, the way all events played out, they had to deal with a lot of different themes throughout. The way I was all handled, I thought they made a good, you know, little ball about it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've heard about the book, it seems like it's at least a competent adaptation. It's just shy of 2 hours, so I feel like it could have been longer if it wanted to. But, you know, for what it is, I think they get everything out. And the only thing I've heard people complain about is just that it's not as deep as the book. But it does touch on some interesting ideas that are more than you're going to get from your average Transformers movie.
I can see how people might get upset about that, but I thought, like, it was an entertaining film with enough depth. So what'd you think of the writing, Andrea?
Well, since it was a great movie, it had to be great writing.
Ah.
So, I mean, the writing was really good, I thought, in my opinion.
There's an interesting question for the end of a show sometimes. Like, have you ever seen a great movie that you thought was, like, poorly written, but everything else about it is so good that it was great? Not that this is, but, you know, just...
Yeah, that the
'Cause what
writing
if-
had way more, it could have had more potential.
No, I'm not saying that this movie was like that.
Ryan's consensus. Ender's Game is the reason movies are made. Ender's Game is the reason movies are made. Yeah, I just had a total blast, and it was like enough depth for me and everything. Anything that I found there's obvious flaws about it, but it just added to the fun for me. I kind of enjoyed the flaws.
Jerry's consensus. A solid, enjoyable sci-fi epic is the reason to see Ender's Game. A solid, enjoyable sci-fi epic is the reason to see Ender's Game. But yeah, I think it's definitely, you know, a step back up for Gavin Hood, and I'm glad to see him, you know, do well, and I hope,
Andrea's consensus. The stuff that Jerry and Ryan said was the reason to see Ender's Game. The stuff that Jerry and Ryan said is the reason to see Ender's Game. Yeah, well, I walked out of that movie feeling like a leader. It was a thoroughly pleasant experience in the cinematic world. Yeah.
Alright guys, thanks for checking out our review for Ender's Game. Why don't you go ahead, scroll that comment box below, and tell us, would you name your kid Ender?
and once you're done answering that yes or no question, come on over here and click this button so you can see more episodes of Reasons to See.
And once you're done doing that, watching all of our videos, you are a dedicated fan, my friend.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter, because you're going to want to see more videos, right? And we let you know when our video is up. And follow us on Facebook, and we can interact. You talk to us, we'll talk back. We're not like other YouTube douchebags.
Yeah, and once you're done with all of that stuff, because we are demanding, you're going to want to get updated every time a new review or video is out, right? So if that's the case,
Subscribe! Click on Andrea. Right there, yep. At the chest area. That's where you want to click.
Oh,
Just drag that mouse over there and do it. It's the best game. That game you won't end.
there is a game involving a mouse in this movie.
Yeah.
And Gavin Hood played the giant.
Really?
Yeah.
Gavin Hood's a film director, Andrea.
Yes, I know this.
Okay, you don't need to get defensive. We're in front of the camera right now.
Nah.
And the fact that
Of course I know this.
You always do this every single time we hang out. You always just get on my ass about something.
Well, maybe you shouldn't, say things that are stupid.